Welcome back, coin enthusiasts and history lovers. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of South African currency. Specifically, the 20,000 and 75-cent coin. It might be small in size, but it's packed with history, symbolism and artistic brilliance. You'll even discover why the initials GJR are so important on this little copper-plated piece of heritage. So sit tight and let's explore the journey behind this coin, from minting to meaning. The basics of the 2007 South Africa 5-cent coin. Let's start with the physical characteristics of the 2007 South African 5-cent coin. Composition: copper-plated steel. Diameter: 1941 mm. Mass: 3.0 grams. Edge plain. Minting location: South African Mint. Obverse designer: Tommy Sassine. Reverse designer: George Jean-Pierre Kruger Gray. Initials GJR. The obverse side bears the coat of arms of South Africa introduced in 2000, reflecting a democratic and unified post-apartheid nation. The top inscription features the country's name, South Africa, written in one of South Africa's 11 official languages, which rotates annually. For 2007, the language is Xitsonga, where it reads Afrika Dzonga. Now on the reverse side we see the blue crane, South Africa's national bird. The initials GJR near the bottom of the design honor the coin's original artist, George Kruger Gray, a British designer whose influence spans across many Commonwealth nations' coinage. Historical context of the 5-cent coin. To understand the coin's significance, we have to trace the history of South African coinage. Before 1961, South Africa used the British pound. With the establishment of the Republic of South Africa in 1961, the country adopted the rand system, modeled after the decimal system. 1 rand equals 100 cents, and the 5-cent coin has been part of the South African monetary system ever since. The early 5-cent coins were made of silver, then nickel, and eventually transitioned to copper-plated steel in the early 2000s to reduce production costs. By 2007, inflation had eroded much of the coin's purchasing power, yet it remained important for small transactions. Symbolism of the blue crane design. Why the blue crane? The blue crane, or Anthropoides paradisius, is not just South Africa's national bird. It holds cultural significance, especially among the Xhosa people who consider the bird a symbol of honor. Xhosa warriors were sometimes adorned with feathers of the blue crane to recognize valor. By placing the blue crane on the 5-cent coin, the South African Mint intended to represent national pride, environmental awareness, and the beauty of the country's wildlife. It's more than just a bird, it's a messenger of cultural identity, grace and strength. GJR, George Kruger Gray's legacy. Now, let's focus on the initials GJR. George Kruger Gray, 1880 to 1943, was a British artist and heraldic expert. He designed many of the original coin motifs for British colonies and Commonwealth countries, including South Africa. His monogram, GJR, stands for George Jean-Pierre Kruger Gray. Though he passed away long before 2007, South Africa retained his revered blue crane design as a symbol of consistency and historical reverence. It's a lasting tribute to his artistry, and a nod to the deep heritage in numismatic design. Even decades after his death, GJR's legacy lives on, embossed on every 5-cent coin in South Africa. 2007, a transitional year in South Africa. The year 2007 is interesting for South Africa. Politically and economically, it was a year of transformation. Thabo Mbeki was president, and there were growing calls for leadership change. Economically, South Africa was experiencing growth but with rising inflation. That's why coins like the 5-cent were increasingly becoming economically inefficient to produce. The cost of minting small denominations sometimes exceeded their face value. Despite that, the 5-cent coin remained in circulation, a testament to its enduring cultural and monetary relevance. Multilingual identity on coins. As mentioned earlier, the name of the country on South African coins rotates among 11 official languages. In 2007, the 5-cent coin used Sitsonga, a Bantu language spoken by the Songa people. This language rotation was introduced after apartheid to reflect the country's new democratic identity, a rainbow nation embracing linguistic and cultural diversity. It's a subtle but powerful gesture that celebrates South Africa's rich tapestry of identities, coin production, and the South African Mint. The 2007 coin was minted by the South African Mint, which has been operational since 1890. The Mint is known for combining cutting-edge technology with traditional craftsmanship. For small denominations like the 5 cent, the Mint shifted from expensive metals to cost-effective materials. The 2007 edition features copper-plated steel, giving it a reddish hue and making it magnetic, a characteristic helpful in sorting and vending machines. Despite its low value, the coin underwent strict quality control, ensuring each piece upheld the legacy of excellence the Mint is known for, collectability and value. So, is the 2007 South Africa 5-cent coin valuable today? In general circulation, it's considered common, millions were minted, and it's not rare. However, collectors may value it for its design by George Kruger Gray, its use of Sitsonga less common among the 11 languages, its good condition or uncirculated grade. Some uncirculated versions may fetch between 20 cents and $1 USD depending on the market. Error coins, like those with off-center strikes, can be even more valuable. Modern fate of the 5-cent coin. In the late 2010s, the South African Reserve Bank announced plans to phase out the 1-cent and 2-cent coins, and hinted at the possible elimination of the 5-cent coin in the future. With digital payments rising and inflation reducing the coin's usefulness, the days of the 5 cent may be numbered. Still, the 2007 edition stands as a powerful symbol of a specific moment in South African history, economically, politically, and culturally. How to spot a fake or misidentified coin. Collectors should be cautious when identifying a 2007 5-cent coin. Here's what to look for: weight and diameter should match the official specs, 3G 1941 mm. Color and magnetic test should be copper in color and magnetic steel core. Design features: blue crane in fine detail. GJR initials visible near the tail or lower part of the bird. Afrika Dzonga on top. Clear undamaged South African coat of arms on the obverse. A coin as a storyteller. What makes this coin fascinating is not its monetary value, it's the story it tells. It speaks of a nation embracing its identity. It honors a European artist whose work still resonates in African coinage. It preserves the elegance of the blue crane, a creature of beauty and symbolism. It echoes in 11 tongues, including Sitsonga in 2007, reminding the world that South Africa speaks with many voices. Closing scene, montage of South African coins, landscapes and people. Coins are more than just currency, they are vessels of memory, culture and identity. The 2007 South African 5-cent coin may be small, but its impact is monumental. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just beginning your coin journey, remember, each coin has a story, and this one speaks in the language of heritage. The 2007 South African 5-cent coin, marked with the mysterious initials GJR. This coin might look ordinary, but its real story is anything but ordinary. Let's unravel its hidden value, rarity, and the reasons why collectors are going wild over it. South Africa's coins are famous for their rich symbolism and national pride, and the 5-cent coin is no exception. Minted in 2007, this copper-plated steel coin weighs just 3 grams. And it proudly features one of South Africa's most iconic plants, the arum lily, also known as Xanthidescia aethiopica. Now here's the fascinating part: this particular coin carries the initials GJR, representing Gert Johannes Rudolph, the talented South African engraver behind the design. His subtle signature is tucked neatly at the base of the flower, and only sharp-eyed collectors have noticed how crucial that detail is to this coin's rising value. But why is this specific 2007 version gaining attention? It's a combination of scarcity, condition, and collector buzz. Let's break it down. Design details and symbolism 202033 30. First, let's admire the design. Obverse side, you'll see the South African coat of arms, complete with a secretary bird, elephant tusks, ears of wheat, and other cultural emblems. Around the edge, it reads Suid-Afrika, South Africa, in both Afrikaans and English, representing the nation's bilingual heritage. Reverse side, the beautiful arum lily takes center stage, an elegant bloom deeply rooted in South African culture. This flower represents purity, rebirth, and resilience, symbolic of a nation that's overcome massive historical changes. And right below the lily, the initials GJR, which now play a major role in how this coin is valued. Why this coin is valuable, or 335.30? At first glance, the 2007 5-cent coin doesn't scream million-dollar treasure, right? But here's where the plot thickens. Although it was mass-produced, many coins from 2007 were withdrawn from circulation early, or worn down due to heavy usage. Finding a 2007 coin, in circulated but still clearly detailed condition, especially one where GJR is legible, is becoming increasingly rare. Now add in some key factors: limited surviving examples in good condition, a growing community of collectors focused on African currency, increased international demand for coins with unique engraver marks. This has pushed prices up on auction sites and collector platforms. Some rare, well-preserved examples with visible GJR marks have been listed or sold for hundreds, and rumors even whisper of $1,000 offers for pristine circulated specimens. Let that sink in. A coin once worth only 5 cents, now valued at hundreds, possibly more, depending on condition and demand. Auction sales and rumors and 537.30. Across collector forums, the 2007 South African 5-cent is generating buzz. In 2023, a circulated but clean coin with a visible GJR fetched over $150 on a South African online auction. Another example, graded by a local numismatic society, was reportedly offered $1,000 by a private buyer looking to complete a set of GJR initialed coins. These numbers might sound unbelievable for a coin still in circulation just a few years ago, but remember, rarity and story make the price in the collector world. Some experts speculate that only a small batch of 2007 coins had particularly clean GJR strikes, adding even more rarity to this variant. And while no official record-breaking million-dollar sale has happened yet, many in the numismatic community believe this coin could become a future crown jewel in African coin collecting. How to identify a valuable 1 or 739? Think you might have one of these treasures lying around? Here's what to look for. Date must be 2007. Reverse should feature the arum lily clearly. Look carefully at the lower right or base of the lily. See those tiny letters? If you spot GJR, clearly you're in luck. Condition matters, even in circulated coins. The more visible the design and initials, the better the value. It might be time to grab a magnifying glass and check your spare change jar, because you never know what's in your pocket. Circulated versus uncirculated, or 9,000 to 10,000. Now let's talk condition. In the world of coin grading, circulated coins often lose value due to wear. But in the case of the 2007 South Africa 5-cent, even circulated coins are climbing in price, simply because so few well-struck examples exist. If you're holding an uncirculated version, you could be looking at a small fortune. but even a moderately worn circulated coin with a visible GJR can fetch between $50 and $200, or more depending on the market. Outro, call to action or 10-10-30. So, did you just realize you've got a rare coin sitting in your drawer? This humble 5-cent piece from South Africa isn't just spare change, it's a growing legend. And you could be one of the lucky few to own it. Like this video if you've learned something new, and don't forget to subscribe for more rare coin discoveries that could be hiding in your own home. Up next, we're exploring another Washington quarter worth over $35,000. You won't believe what era makes it so valuable. Next coin. This simple 2 rand coin from 1991 might look like just another piece of pocket change, but what if I told you that this very coin, yes, the one you might have forgotten at the bottom of your drawer, could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars today? This simple 2 rand coin from 1991 might look like just another piece of pocket change, but what if I told you that this very coin, yes, the one you might have forgotten at the bottom of your drawer, could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars today? Today we're diving deep into the world of valuable coins, and we're kicking it off with one of South Africa's most surprising treasures, the 19,912 rand coin, in circulated condition. Let's uncover its mystery, rarity, and exactly why collectors are paying a premium for it. Cut 2, dramatic close-up of the 1991 2 rand coin, spinning on a dark surface, a glimpse into South Africa's numismatic history. To understand why the 1991 2 rand coin is so valuable, we first need to rewind a bit into South Africa's rich and complex coinage history. The 2 rand coin was introduced in 1989, replacing the 2 rand banknote to make transactions. Crafted in nickel-plated copper, this coin was meant to be tough, but over time, some of these coins became extremely scarce. Especially the 1991 issue. A timeline animation showing introduction of 2 rand coins in 1989, zooming into 1991. What makes the 1991 2 rand coin so special? Okay, so here's the million rand question. What makes the 1991 version of this coin stand out? After all, millions of coins are minted every year, right? Zoom in, reverse of the coin showing the springbok antelope. For starters, the coin features the elegant springbok, one of South Africa's national symbols, designed with stunning detail. But flip the coin, zoom in, obverse showing the portrait of State President F.W. de Klerk, with the text Suid-Afrika, South Africa, 1991. And you'll find something that makes collectors pause, the portrait of State President F.W. de Klerk, the last head of state during the apartheid era before Nelson Mandela took over in the democratic shift of the 1990s, dramatic. That alone gives this coin major historical significance. It's more than metal, it's a snapshot of a pivotal moment in South African history. Circulated condition, still worth a fortune? You might be thinking, okay, cool history, but mine's scratched up, circulated. Probably side by side of a mint condition coin and a circulated one. Even in circulated condition, some of these 1991 coins are fetching up to $1,000 or more, in auctions and private sales. Why? Overlay eBay screenshots or auction examples showing high bids on 19,912 rand coins. Because collectors are chasing scarcity, historical context and demand. While mint condition is always king, a coin with the right story, even with some wear, can be a goldmine. How rare is it really? Let's talk numbers. In 1991, the South African Mint produced a lower than usual quantity of 2 rand coins compared to earlier years. This wasn't a limited edition, but due to changing economic policies, not many of these survived in good condition today. Add to that the transitional phase from apartheid to democracy, and suddenly this coin becomes a symbolic bridge between 2 eras, which makes it highly collectible on a global scale. Visuals, chart showing mintage figures dropping, images of South Africa's early 1990s political transformation. Collector insights, what they look for. Collectors eye three major things when it comes to the 1991 2 Rand coin: date and authenticity. It must say 1991. Anything else? Pass. Historical context. The coin must have the FW de Klerk obverse. That's the unique marker of its era. Condition. Circulated coins are acceptable, but coins with readable details, no deep scratches, and strong rims fetch higher values. Cut 2. Inspecting a 19,912 Rand. Some collectors even prefer circulated coins because they feel more real, like they've lived through the history they represent. Real sales. Proof it's worth something. Let's look at some actual sale examples of this coin in recent years. Overlay, real data. 2019, circulated 1991 2 Rand sold for $750 at a Cape Town auction. 2022, eBay sale in Germany, heavily worn example sold for $4. 2023, a private collector in Canada paid $1,200 for a slightly circulated version to complete his apartheid-era collection. Excited. That's not just pocket change, that's serious cash for a coin that might have slipped through most hands unnoticed. Tips to identify and protect your coin. So, how do you know if your 19,912 Rand coin is the jackpot? Checklist on screen. Look for the date, 1991. Confirm the portrait of F.W. de Klerk. Inspect for deep scratches or rim damage. Consider getting it professionally graded by a service like NGC or PCGs. If you've got a promising one, protect it in a coin flip or capsule. Every little scratch can lower its value. Closing segment, the treasure in your pocket. Calm and thoughtful. But the 19,912 Rand tells a historic tale of change, hope, and rare value. While most people see just 2 Rands, collectors see a snapshot of South Africa's journey, and they're willing to pay big for it. Upbeat, so go ahead. Check that old drawer, dig through your childhood coin jar, or ask your family if they've got any forgotten change. That little 19,912 Rand coin could be your hidden treasure. Let's begin with the basics. The 1991 South African 2 Rand coin is part of the Rand currency series introduced in 1961. By 1991, the coin had become a common part of everyday transactions. Composition. The 1991 version of the 2 Rand coin is made of nickel-plated copper, moving away from silver used in earlier versions. Diameter, around 28.5 mm. Weight, approximately 11 grams. Obverse design. The front of the coin features the South African coat of arms used before 2000, a heraldic symbol that includes a lion, tusks, a shield and spear motifs. Above it is the country's name written in 2 of the 11 official languages, often seen as Suid Afrika Afrikaans, and South Africa English. Reverse design. The reverse side shows a black wildebeest, also called the white-tailed gnu, a majestic and iconic animal native to the open plains of South Africa. The image is accompanied by the denomination, the bold numeral 2 followed by Rand. This animal symbolizes resilience and strength, 2 qualities relevant to South Africa during the early 1990s. The initials, ALS, at the base of the wildebeest stand for Arthur Sutherland, the artist who designed the reivers. South Africa in 1991 to 4,000 to 80. To truly understand the 1991 2 Rand coin, we must look at South Africa's political and social landscape during that year. 1991 was a watershed moment in South African history. After decades of racial segregation under apartheid, the country began to dismantle the system in earnest. President W. de Klerk had already announced the unbanning of liberation movements like the African National Congress ANC in 1990. Nelson Mandela, the most famous anti-apartheid revolutionary, had been released from prison in February 1990, after 27 years of incarceration. In 1991, the ruling government began repealing the foundational laws of apartheid, including the PN Act, the Group Areas Act, and the Land Acts. The year marked the formal beginning of negotiations that would eventually lead to South Africa's first democratic election in 1994. The 2 rand coin minted in this year becomes a symbolic relic of this transition, a reminder of a nation striving to rebuild itself on principles of freedom and equality. Economic conditions and currency reform, 8000 to 120. South Africa in 1991 faced not only political upheaval, but also economic uncertainty. The country was emerging from years of sanctions and isolation due to its apartheid policies. The South African rand, introduced in 1961 to replace the British pound, had lost significant value due to sanctions and inflation. As part of the response, the South African Mint revised coin compositions to make them more cost-effective. The 2 rand coin had already transitioned from silver to nickel-plated copper in earlier years. In 1991, the 2 rand coin played a practical role in daily transactions. It served as a high-value coin for small purchases at a time when the economy was strained and cash had to circulate efficiently. This made the 2 rand coin both a workhorse of the economy and a canvas for national symbolism. Symbolism of the Black Wildebeest, 12,000 to 16,000. The Black Wildebeest on the coin is more than just a design choice, it holds symbolic weight in South African culture. Native to southern Africa, the wildebeest is a social, nomadic creature known for its endurance and strength. These animals are often seen in herds, emphasizing unity and collective resilience, qualities South Africans needed during this time of national transformation. In wildlife conservation, the black wildebeest is a success story, once near extinction but preserved through careful stewardship, again reflecting South Africa's journey from crisis to hope. Placing this animal on the 2 rand coin during such a historic year subtly mirrored the resilience of the people and the vision of a new beginning. The coat of arms, echoes of the old guard, 16,000 to 20,000. While the reverse of the coin speaks of unity and progress, the obverse tells another story. The pre-2000 South African It includes a lion, 4 quarters, and symbols drawn from both settler and indigenous traditions. Introduced in 1910, the design reflects the union of South Africa under British dominion. By 1991, many South Africans saw the coat of arms as outdated and unrepresentative of the nation's diversity. Still, its presence on the coin reflects the dual identity South Africa carried at the time, trying to maintain order while moving toward radical change. This contrast between the old coat of arms and the wildebeest is almost poetic. A country torn between its colonial past and democratic future. Numismatic value today, 20,000 to 24. Now let's talk about what every coin enthusiast wants to know. The current value and collectability of the 19,912 rand coin. Circulated value. Most circulated 19,912 rand coins hold face value or modest collector interest. Uncirculated mint condition, coins in pristine condition, graded or preserved in albums, may be worth $5 to $10, depending on condition and demand. Error coins, very rare misprints, such as missing designs, off-center strikes or planchet errors, could fetch higher prices among collectors. The coin isn't particularly rare, but it carries historical and emotional value, especially for those interested in transitional-era South African coins. Collectors often seek this coin as part of a timeline series, documenting South Africa's evolution through currency transition to the new South Africa, 2FAR 28. 3 years after this came the first black president of South Africa in 1994. The country adopted a new democratic constitution, and embraced a new coat of arms in 2000. The coin's design remained largely unchanged for some time, but it eventually gave way to newer designs reflecting the post-apartheid spirit. The 19,912 rand thus stands at a crossroads in time, capturing the moment between oppression and liberation. When you hold this coin in your hand, you're holding more than metal. You're holding the tension, hope and courage of an entire nation on the cusp of change. Coin collecting tips and final thoughts, 28,000 to 30,000. If you're interested in collecting South African coins, the 19,912 rand is a must-have. Look for coins with minimal wear. Store them in a dry, airtight container to prevent. Search dealers who specialize in South African or African currency for better appraisal and trade opportunities. And more importantly, take time to understand the story behind the coin. Because every coin, especially one minted in a year like 1991, is a window into history. Tau 30. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning about the 1991 South Africa 2 rand coin, and the incredible moment in history it represents, give this video a like, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of collectible coins. Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you have one of these coins? What does it mean to you?